Hi guys, first of all, Merry Christmas from Team Rev Match.
Yeah, Merry Christmas guys, and we are here today with Hyundai. That's how you pronounce it. Usually Sri Lankans say Hyundai, myself included. And we're in a Sonata Facelift 4th gen. And it's interesting, Ashrak, how this car has 6 generations already since 1985.
Indeed.
And the 1985 model I heard didn't perform that well in terms of exports, but every generation that came out afterwards did quite well. And we're here today with the facelift version. It's a nice white, it's a repainted car. It's owned by Dr. Suneth Rajawasan. And thank you so much for letting us review your car today. We have a
with the driving gloves and all.
Yeah. So we have a lovely light blue tint going on as well in this car, Ashrak, and 16-inch alloys on this in a really lovely color, which you will see in the external shots that we've got. And Ashrak, how are you feeling, man? This is the first time I'm driving Sonata.
Very comfortable, Mahin, and it's a roomy car. It's a very spacious car.
Yes.
And it's very well equipped also. I mean, these early 2000 Sonatas don't have the best reputation in Sri Lanka, Mahin, because of the maintenance factor.
Yes.
So, actually, you would have seen a lot of the ones that you see advertised online have a engine swap or don't look their best. But, I mean, from our rolling footage, you can see that this car is fastidiously maintained. I mean, the white, as Suneth was telling us earlier, is actually a flat white. And what's the reason for choosing that, Suneth?
Right, so this car has a pearl paint. The stock paint from the factory is a pearlescent, and pearlescent ages really badly, so it goes yellow mostly.
Oh, yeah, right.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, keep going, Suneth.
Yeah, sure. So it went yellow, and there was a time that you couldn't match the paint. I mean, this was my mom's car. It's a first owner car still. And there have been a various number of small dings and dents, and we've had trouble matching the paint. So finally, when I took it over, I mixed this with my cousin who owns a paint shop, and he does all my cars, and he did my Type R as well. So we did the same. We did a custom white where we removed as much yellow from the paint as we can without making it look that sickly blue. So there's a little bit of yellow in this mix, but there's enough to make it pop for that powder snow white.
I mean, that is really true. I mean, the first time when I saw this car, I was like, okay, that doesn't look like any other Sonata. Because, I mean, I've seen it on your Facebook, but as we know, looking at a car on a screen doesn't convey a lot about its color, especially cars with a really nice or distinctive color. So the first thing I saw when you parked Suneth was like, I was like, whoa, now that's clean.
Yeah.
And not clean because you just had it detailed at Dr. Auto, but because it's actually, it's the first white Sonata I'm actually seeing in Sri Lanka in the 2020s that's not yellowed.
Yes, and Ashrak, like you said, the space inside is quite good, especially true with cars that came in this particular era, the early 2000s, Ashrak. And I think it's aged well as well.
It has. I mean, I should just point out, Mahin, that I'm sitting here with my feet outstretched. Suneth, who is 6+, I'm guessing, right?
Yes,
Suneth
6,
is
exactly
sitting directly behind me, and he's perfectly comfortable.
That is true, Ashrak. And
so, yeah, it's...
the driving feel is also quite nice. It's got a nice weighted feel to the steering as well. This is probably an aftermarket steering wheel, Suneth?
Yes, it is. So the stock steering, this car didn't come with airbags. This is a non-airbag model. And
we die like real men.
Yes, you die like exactly. Spot on. So the stock steering doesn't look like much. And ever since I came upon the fantastic discovery that this car is basically a gallant dressed up in uglier clothing, all the Mitsubishi parts fit, the suspension, engine. So if suspension and engine fit, why not a steering wheel?
Yeah.
And one steering wheel I really love is the one on the Evo 6.
Yeah.
And I happened to get one from one of my good friends who gave it to me for a song, to be honest. It was very nice of him. And I had it done up, I had it re-leathered by Auto Mirage, of all people, whose leather restoration is really good.
Yes.
And yes, it fits me because I believe my cockpit is my temple. I mean, I sit in this, it's my daily now.
Okay.
And I want my driving ambience that to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it needs to call to me every day when I get in here. Stress gets relieved.
Fair enough.
So the steering wheel plays a major part in that, and it's not done yet, by the way. I'm getting a custom leather ring on that, with a work nut. With the work nut is the Norse carvings that they do on the axles and stuff.
Right.
So I'm getting one of my leather watch strap guys, my leather smith.
That's another
Sydney
topic
Farid.
we should talk to Suneth about watches.
Yes. So my watch strap guy, Sydney Farid, is doing a custom leather ring for the circle you see on that.
Right.
Then it will be done.
Ashok, is it just me or is every car guy into watches as well? I'm into watches, you're into watches, Suneth is into watches.
I think
know
there is
many others who are into
There is
watches.
a distinctive
It's like-
synergy there, Mahen, and I think that's content for a video.
Yeah.
Because like you say, almost all the car guys I know are into watches.
Yeah, I think mechanical and craftsmanship and everything else, styling is something that we really admire, I guess. So
Yeah, I think this is
that's how
something Suneth talked about also. He does some stuff about watches as well on
Yes.
his TikTok, the
You
Doc
do
on the
as
Doc
well.
and the Doc on the Gram Instagram.
Yeah.
And I also do a few reviews on my private
I
channel.
used to as well. My gosh, so many things in common.
So then
I mean,
maybe we should branch out a bit.
for me, the watches is basically it's the same appeal as cars. I mean, most of my watches are 1960s, 70s
Right.
Japanese relics, including the one I'm wearing now. That's a
Okay.
bullhead that I bought for parts on eBay
Oh,
and
wow.
fully restored.
Wow.
So yeah, it's the same appeal. You see
The
something broken in
citizen
Japanese, yeah.
Oh wow.
You see something broken in Japanese and you try to fix it.
So I'm wearing an eco drive right now.
So there you go.
And you've got
Yeah,
Mahen
yeah.
with the Tissot.
Yes. Again, a gift from my previous company as a farewell.
Wow,
gift,
nice company, Mahen.
Definitely.
It's a very generous company.
Definitely. Coincidentally, I 2 weeks before leaving, I posted pictures of this watch on my Instagram story, and my friends picked up on it. So, thank you guys. Still wearing it 5 years later. And so I did not floor this car yet, Suneth. So, how is it like in terms of torque and the driving feel? What do you have to say? I'm going to floor it now.
Right, so low end torque is really good for
Okay.
driving. Ever since I did the engine rebuild and the exhaust fix, it gives me a lot of grunt low end. The mid range is okay, but the high end, I mean, I'm a Honda guy.
Right.
I've had a Type R, I've had
Yes,
a built
yes,
Type
exactly.
Oh, yes.
R, which I used to race. And for me, so high end screaming is something that's in my blood.
Yes.
But sadly, this car doesn't do that. But then I need to understand what the car is as well, right?
Exactly.
So
Of
it's
course.
not that,
It's
but
not meant to go like that, yeah.
exactly. But for the long distance to eat up miles
I know.
and then chew it out
I can tell.
spit it out the other end.
Yeah.
It's my go-to, my long distance, hauler.
No, I can tell. I heard you've been to Jaffna, which is
Many
hundred
times, yes,
kilometers from Colombo.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yes, I've had to go. I had to go to Manor a number of times,
Right.
Jaffna, because my wife used to work there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it used to do these trips with a plumb. I love it.
It feels quite stable, Ashok, and like you.
Yeah, and I must
said.
point out, even from the passenger seat, Mahen, it feels exceptionally composed. Like,
Yeah.
even when you were flooring it,
Yeah.
I didn't feel like we were going fast until I saw the speedometer showing 80 there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not about the going fast factor, but it's
Yeah.
also about how the car makes people feel that it's, safe, basically.
Yeah, I get why Suneth would use this as his daily as well.
I mean, he has upgraded the tires as well to go with the new wheels. I mean, 225s, right?
Yeah,
So
put some fat rubber on it so it's stable.
Yeah.
And with my line of work, it's a question I get constantly asked. Just last week also, I was stopped by a colleague and like, Malli me tel karanne ned. I was like, nah, tel nang karanne. Gahana taramak kanna. I'm not what I would define as a tel hinganna.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care what the fuel consumption is as long as the car makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
You
I'm
worked hard for that, right?
exactly. So, I mean, it's not my primary concern when I get a car.
Correct.
That's true. I mean, why should you, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just going to make a point here that's going to make all the Wagoner hybrid owners in this country cry. But when I drive to Kandy and back in my wife's one, I average 16 kilometers per litre. Not the 20 plus you guys do. Because I thrash it, I use the AC at 20 degrees. And on the highway, I sometimes exceed 120.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's the point, right? Why do you want to go as slow? And because I've done a few experiments, and you can get 20 plus in that car if you're willing to sacrifice a lot of comfort
And maybe push it half the way, no?
Yes, and then you push it half the way also. Those are compromises I'm not willing to make.
The question is it worth it?
So yeah, Zara, sorry, you just got the reason right now there why your car doesn't do well when I drive it to Kandy.
So just in case those of you who are curious, yes, it does all of 5.5 kilometers a liter in traffic,
Oh my gosh, I see
and it
this.
does 9.9 is the best I've ever gotten as a mileage outstation.
Wow. 9 just short of the magic
Just
10.
short of the magic 10, yeah.
For
Never
once-
crossed 10.
For once,
okay.
my Verada is better in fuel efficiency.
Well, actually, yes, you have a bigger engine. Even
Yeah.
this came with the same 3.5. I bet you that does better on fuel than than the 2 litre. Macam.
So here we are, viewers. I am behind the wheel now in a very festive drive, and I'm going to tell you a bit of trivia about myself. Mahin, I usually never wear caps.
Oh, right. Yes, I know. But you'll make any sacrifice to make our viewers happy, right?
Exactly. Including being terrorized when other people drive fast cars.
Is that me?
Yes, that was you. But hey, that's okay. I mean, it's all part of the...
Yeah.
First impressions, yes, this is, as Suneth said, this is a very planted car.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the way it's just, going.
Yes.
And I'm sure Suneth will forgive me if I take this corner in a slightly exuberant fashion. Not too exuberant because this BMW doesn't seem to be, very...
Yeah. As usual.
Yep, we need to
cannot
put another little PSA out there.
Yeah.
The road markings are not just decorations.
Exactly.
Follow them, please.
Exactly. No, seriously.
Yeah, it really ticks me off when
Yeah.
people straddle them.
Yeah. And at least use your signals, right?
Exactly. So now I'm just pressing it a little bit more, and yes, what Suneth said is true. The low end is basically where I want to be in this car. I can also see a little the readout there telling me what gear the transmission is in, which is once again very nice. So this has a, I believe, 4-speed automatic, correct, Suneth?
Yes, a 4-speed automatic.
That was very par for the course during that time. Even your Verada has a 4-speed, right?
Yeah. And interestingly, as Suneth said, this shares a lot of DNA of the Mitsubishis from that era.
I'm just going to go right.
Yeah. This Porsche.
Yeah, it's a very nice Porsche up there. So yes, the suspension also soaks up the bumps pretty nicely. Suneth has told us that he's done the suspension, and the car is very relaxing to drive, Mahin. I can understand why, as a doctor in a fast-paced environment, he'd want to come back to this after every hard day at work.
Yeah, and the AC is amazing. I really like it.
Yeah, I just noticed that Suneth, this is not on full cooling
Yes,
either, right?
yes.
Yeah,
My AC guy is a god with cooling.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, it's a chap called SAS AC. He's quite close to hospital.
Oh, yeah, I
and
know
he's a gem of a man. He does all my classics. He did one of my 510s where he ducted the AC through the old blower vents and used the blower controls to turn the AC on and off.
Wow.
So you couldn't tell I didn't want that hanging piece on the car.
Okay.
And he went out of his way to make it look like it was a factory fit.
We
And
need
mind you,
more
his
people
cooling is just amazing.
Yeah, it is like really great.
I last serviced this about 8 months ago.
Oh wow.
I do service it at least once in 6 months,
Oh,
so it's
really?
due again. But see, as you can see, it's halfway and it's
No,
cooling.
I really like it. It's something we immediately notice in any car we drive actually. I mean, this is not just a random compliment, Ashrak. You know me.
I know,
Yeah.
exactly.
And even Ashrak's like a big fan of AC.
Yeah, for
And,
me, AC
so
is
it's-
like the number one thing that,
Yeah, but not in an open top, right?
not in an open, actually,
Obviously,
even in an
right?
open top, I'd still use the AC,
Really?
I'd still use the AC,
Okay,
Mahin, because
okay.
there's actually a purpose to that.
Okay.
It keeps your body cool,
Yeah, we know Ashrak.
Or ventilated seats, Mahin.
Yeah, ventilated seats.
Now,
hopefully.
cars from this era didn't come with that. I think ventilated seats were a fairly modern invention. But I don't
Very
think I need it in this car. I mean, you've got some very nice, well-worn leather seats here in still good condition.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly can't see any rips or tears. Are there any rips or tears?
There is one on the center headrest which I'm getting done soon. It's on the
how
back
did
here. You can't
that
even see it,
happen
but it's on the
of
back.
all play? I can just about see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
How did that happen? That's a very random
Here we go.
place.
This is the one place I can show. Here it is. There it is.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The one thing that's bugging me.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, when you care for your cars, there'll always be something that bugs you, right? Sometimes it's a matter of thinking, okay, what can I let go just for the moment?
Yeah.
There was a meme recently which I saw that said, මාසේ පඩි හම්බුනහම කාර් එක පොඩ්ඩක් කැත වෙලා පේනවා. This happens to me. This
That
happens
is
to
true,
me.
that is true.
They say, it's like your cars know when,
Yeah, and it's December, and guess what? I need to replace all the tires in both my cars. It's about time. It's been 5 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Another important tip there, isn't it? About tires and tire life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, tires expire as well, and there's expiry date on tires. It's not just about wearing them out. Unfortunately, Sri Lankans replace these when they look like they're semi-slicks which are ready for racing.
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, you shouldn't do that. You should replace them at the end of their life, as well as if they're worn to a certain point.
Yeah.
Especially, you should check your inner camber, the inside rim of
the
that.
sprightly fashion.
Correct. Oh.
Little bit of tire squeal there, but it held. I mean, I see what you mean, Suneth. I can imagine you have quite a bit of fun in this car sometimes.
I do. It's surprisingly nimble for its weight. It weighs 1.6 tons, almost 1.6 tons. And for that weight, it handles itself well. I mean, I would love this car to have a V8 or a V6, but I don't know. I mean, it's adequate. It's what it is.
But as you said, this came in a V6 as well, right?
Yes, it had the 3.5 litre V6, which I believe is in your car as well, mine.
Yeah.
And that did, mind you, does better on fuel. But unfortunately, there are very few of those in the country. I think there are only 2 or 3.
Right. Interesting. And I think Ashrak is looking for the horn over there.
I think it'll be fixed, right?
It's on your thumb. It's on your thumb, actually. There. Where you pressed it. No, just right of that. Nah.
There.
Yeah.
Oh
It's a
wow!
nice
So it's
horn.
Because the emboss for the horn was covered by the leatherwork. So
Oh,
I
I
need
see.
to reprint it. I need to figure something out to put the horn mark there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I know where it is, but others don't.
Yeah.
It's like a secret.
Not like you let others drive it anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, my friends do. It's I hardly ever use the horn. I'm one of those guys who's
Oh.
very silent on the road,
Oh.
silent but deadly. So I never ever use the horn
Wow,
unless I'm
that's
really angry.
I raise my hat to you then because I'm trying
Yeah.
to reach that level.
Yeah, same actually. I find it very hard not to use the horn.
Now, I come from my dad he honks with abandon.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I remember he was in the UK and he drove like he was driving in Sri Lanka back in the 70s.
Oh, that's
and
not
mom
fun.
tells me he was honking at everyone on the road, and at some point one Brit had stopped him and said like, look, just don't do this. You don't do this here.
It's not the done thing.
Exactly.
I hope they at least adhere to rules. In Sri Lanka, well, not all of us adhere to rules, which is bad.
That is true. We need to drive responsibly.
Yeah. Especially during the season, right, Ashrak? We
Exactly.
need to be safe. We shouldn't drink and drive. We should check our cars, especially when we go on trips. We should get enough rest. Before.
Always wear your seat belt.
Yeah, seat belt. And like Suneth was saying, the tires, although it may look okay from the outside, it's not okay if it's past 5 years since the date of manufacture. And you might ask us, how are you going to check that? It's clearly visible on the tire sidewall, right? The tire sidewall. You get the week and the year printed on the tire. Basically, it's embossed.
It's a 4-digit code.
Yeah, it's a 4-digit code, and we can show you where it is also. So based on that, you just check how old your tires are, and you should be worried if it's over 5 years old, because you will not know until it's too late, right? So,
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You always check expiry on tires.
Yeah.
I think, Suneth, that's particularly important for people with classic cars, right? Cars that don't get driven much, because you might get lulled into a false sense of security thinking, I haven't driven this car so much, the tires look fresh.
Yeah.
They might not be fresh.
The rubber hardens over time. This is the
Yeah.
problem, and you lose grip.
Yeah.
The rubber should be soft and tires should wear.
Yeah.
And don't ever choose a tire that doesn't wear, because I see a lot of Sri Lankans doing this. They choose brands which cheaper brands which for them it's a big thing the tire hasn't worn off.
Exactly.
But it's meant to do that. It's meant to wear off. It's meant to melt and grip the road.
Yes.
So if your tires aren't wearing off, you're driving plastic,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and that isn't good.
Plus,
It's
if
not
you
going to
go
stop the
for a
car.
really hard tire, like people think going for a hard tire means that it won't wear off, like Suneth said. But apart from what he has said, there's another reason also. Remember, if the tire is not absorbing shocks, something much more expensive called your suspension
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
So I know people who have put really hard tires locally and been happy with the tire wear, then they've found that their suspension wears out much faster, and then they've had to be much more out of pocket with the repairs. So
Exactly.
you have to bear that in mind
It's
also.
a long-term investment for 5 years, right? So I mean, might as well save up a bit and then spend it on a good set of tires.
That is true, and of course the driving pleasure. And I think
Yeah.
Suneth can tell us about the driving pleasure of a good set of tires. I mean, he's owned some grippy, seriously powerful, seriously grippy cars.
Yes, and I've made bad choices with tires too, and had to replace them within months. So I've been through the gamut of tires from good to bad.
Yeah.
So I can tell you easily. Good tires make a world of a difference.
That is true. Although, what has happened here?
He's asking the way. No.
Directions, probably. Eh?
Yeah.
That's another top tip for you. If you need to stop and ask for directions, just be mindful of where you stop, not
Exactly.
on the entrance of a junction.
Yeah.
Little things, and I know everyone's going to be in a festive mood, and you're going to be like joyous and enjoying, and suddenly you're like, okay, where am I going now? And then you stop, but don't do that. Stay safe out there.
Correct.
Okay, Mahin. So we've had a really great drive. Thank you so much, Suneth. We really appreciate it.
The pleasure is all mine, boys.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to reviewing the rest of your cars as well.
Yep, I got a few coming out. I have Sri Lanka's only running Datsun 510 wagon. There's another with a friend which is under restoration, but the only one on the roads right now is the one with me.
Right.
I take care of it. It belongs to a friend, but I am its caretaker.
Okay.
So yep, it's a very it's a unicorn of a car with a colourful history. It has taken 2 lives already, and I haven't driven it much yet. I just started driving it after 6 years.
Wow.
So I'm hoping not to be the third.
We hope the same for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be the case.
Probably a car that needs to be driven with respect.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Suneth.
It was my pleasure.
Okay.
You're welcome.